Well, congratulations are in order to the Labour Party in the United Kingdom, having won their first election since 2005. They haven't been in power in the UK since 2005. That election was held on Thursday, the 4th day of July 2024. And of course, by Friday the 5th, we already knew who won that election. Unprecedented. You know, if you're a Nigerian like me, living in Nigeria and, you know, witnessing elections here, elections are normally long drawn out, a long drawn out process that takes place over, you know, a couple of months. It's nothing like we're witnessing has happened in the United Kingdom. That's not the interesting thing for me. The interesting thing is the way the transition happened in a seamless manner. I mean, the election happened on a Thursday. By Friday, we knew who the winner of that election was. By Friday evening, the new Prime Minister was visiting the King of England, King Charles. Of course, you know, the King, the United Kingdom operates a monarchy and the King is the head of government. So he goes to inform King Charles that, you know, now there's a change in government. I will be coming in as a Prime Minister, and King Charles approves that. And, you know, by the third day, that's the Saturday, we're getting an inkling, getting a vision of the new Prime Minister's cabinet. So there are lessons to be learned for those of us who witness long drawn out elections. And what are the takeaways for me from the United Kingdom election? First thing that I noticed was that there was no handover, no long drawn out transition process. They didn't have a Prime Minister elect. They didn't have an outgoing Prime Minister. They didn't have committees on both sides. Normally you have transition. There's a committee transitioning out and a committee transitioning in. There was no church service. There was no mosque service. There was no Thanksgiving, nothing like that. No world leaders were invited, no invitation sent out. I always thought that change of government must necessarily entail invitation to leaders from government from all over the world. We didn't have anything like that. There wasn't any transition committee, nothing. It was just a seamless handover of power. One day Rishi Sunak was the Prime Minister, and the next day Keir Starmer becomes the Prime Minister. One leaves 10 Downing Street straight away, walking away with his wife, and 24 hours later, the new man is sleeping in Downing Street. You know, these are interesting times, you know, for me living here and watching all these things. After all, this election in the United Kingdom sought to place 650 members into the lower house of Parliament. That's the House of Commons. And it's a very, very important election for Labour Party. It finally sees Labour back in power, you know, since 2005. The new leader, Keir Starmer, is been the Labour leader since April 4th, 2020. So what do you think about this? You know, is it something we should embrace here when we do our elections as well? At least it will save costs, if nothing else. You know, if you've witnessed elections here in Nigeria, there's some things you assume will happen with an election. For instance, people will head to a tribunal. You know, we'll have transition committees. We'll have transition people planning to hand over. There's a long drawn out process. We will have a president-elect who's incoming. We'll have an outgoing president. And all these people have their own committees and panels, and they're all preparing the handovers and so on. There's so much activity going on. In fact, after an election here in Nigeria, two payments are being made. Don't forget, the outgoing crew are still being paid. The incoming crew are already, you know, expending payments, because once you're declared the president-elect, of course, You are giving security. You have your DSS. You have your crew, your members and your supporters all moving around with you. You're giving official vehicles. So, to all intents and purposes, it's as if we have two presidents in place, one waiting to leave and one waiting to come in. And that's why the United Kingdom election was so surprising. There was no handover, no long drawn out transition. There was no prime minister elect. There was no outgoing prime minister. There was no bickering between two groups of people, those leaving and those coming in. I mean, we didn't think that government could change without an inauguration ceremony that involved inviting all presidents and heads of state from all over the world. So the prime minister changed, government changed. Not one single leader from another country attended any event to usher in a new government. Surprising.